You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
January is right around the corner, and that means life-affirming events like the National March for Life and other events. And we want to share those with you today. Joining us, Deaconess Tiffany Manor, Director for LCMS Life Ministry. Deaconess Manor, thanks for being our guest on The Coffee Hour today.
Oh, it's always great to talk with you all. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always love talking about life-affirming events and topics with you. And January is right around the corner, which means the March for Life, which typically takes place in January, usually the weekend closest to the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Is that well? Before we get into the details for this coming year, how has the March for Life and other life-affirming events, other marches, things like that, been helpful in communicating a message of the sanctity of all human life?
Yeah, so Marches for Life and other public events like that are really great opportunities for Christians to turn out and witness to all of those around us, all of those who might see us outside, and we can share our understanding of God as the creator and giver of life, and also the value that he gives to all human life. So it's pretty great that as LCMS Lutherans we can be there together with our really clear confession to share with the world, but we also join with brothers and sisters in Christ and others who may not even be Christians, but share our understanding that that life is very precious, and we don't decide when it begins and ends. So we have a stronger witness when we're standing together with others, and we profess life and we confess Christ. So they're really impactful opportunities.
Yeah, they really are. Are there plans for next year? Everything has been weird since March this year. So are there plans for the March for Life in DC in January or other marches for next year?
Yeah. Weird feels like the understatement of the year, but yes, there are plans. Plans have, as you might imagine, have already changed quite a bit. And a lot of people are asking, like, oh, what are the details? So some of the information in the details is still not really available yet because things are changing so much still. So we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I mean, for instance, right now in Washington, D.C., there's a 25-person limit for even outdoor gatherings. So that
won't work so well.
will impact an event that usually is thousands upon thousands of people. But the National March for Life planners are really committed to doing things in step with what the governmental requirements are. So definitely masks will be worn during the event. The National Park Service requires that. And they're going to be creative and figure out how to still march this year. So we'll be providing information as we receive it from the National March for Life. But it's also pretty obvious that this year people are going to have trouble traveling. So I keep saying that this is really the year of the local witness events. We may have things that don't look quite like the traditional marches. There's plans for car parades around the country. We've got LCMS Lutherans who are planning car parades in Utah and across the Midwest as well. So I think all of these constraints that we have are opportunities, to really get local this year. And I've been encouraging that folks can arrange for their own car parades or local marches. It's pretty easy. You can just call up your local governance officials and ask, what the permit requirements are. You can even use church property to stand outside, hold signs, and witness and confess Christ. So there's all kinds of opportunity for people to figure out something in their community or in their state that will allow them to witness this year.
And I believe one of the larger events, not quite as large as the National March, but Chicago event has been picking up over the last few years and really gaining a lot of attendees. Do we know anything about the Chicago event for this coming year?
Yep, that's a great example of some folks who've gotten creative. So they decided, earlier this fall, probably a month or maybe a couple months ago, that it wasn't going to be feasible to do the traditional March for Life in downtown Chicago. So they reached out to us and some other partners, and the idea was to actually take the March for Life Chicago on the road throughout the Midwest, because typically people from about 10 states around the Midwest go to Chicago for that march. And now there's going to be events in 7 Midwestern cities that have volunteers who've stepped forward to plan events. So they're going to be a series of car parades and car rallies in parking lots, so they can be very safe opportunities to have signs and flags from the cars to express what's happening, and actually take the event, the kind of people moving event, out into various neighborhoods that might not have actually been reached by a March for Life in downtown Chicago. So we're preparing things like signs and car flags that will be available to order on our eyesoflife.org /store, so that people can order those and deck out their cars. We have President Harrison, who's going to be speaking in Fort Wayne on January 16th. That's going to be one of the cities that will be on this Moving the Movement tour, as the Chicago March for Life is being called this year. And so President Harrison will be there the afternoon of Saturday, January 16th. He'll be speaking. There'll be a lineup of other speakers as well. And then and that's actually going to be at the seminary campus, which is a fantastic place in January to have a life event, because the Fort Wayne Seminary Life team puts out a display. They did it last year and they're doing it again. Actually, that would be another idea to do at a church locally. They put out thousands of crosses on their lawn to represent the lives that are lost to abortion in the state of Indiana. So this year they're going to have 7,637 crosses out. And they invite the community to come to this. They call it the Life Memorial, and invite the community members to park and walk amongst the crosses and pray. And it helps people to visualize what that number of 7,600 babies that died to abortion in Indiana looks like, but in a really silent and respectful manner. So we're going to have this rally at the Fort Wayne Seminary campus, so everyone can see that life memorial, and then there'll be almost like a drive-in movie experience with people in their cars listening to the Life Rally speakers, who will be broadcast by radio into their car radio systems, and then the parade will move out into the community and witness to life to the entire Fort Wayne community. And the same thing will be happening in other cities throughout the Midwest on various dates. You can go to our website, lcms.org/life, and see the full list of cities that are going to be doing these types of events.
Yeah, it's a packed schedule with lots of cities. I think it's ranging from Iowa all the way over to Indiana, a large swath of places, and hopefully people who haven't been able to make it to Chicago or DC or any of the larger marches will be able to participate in one of these, in these smaller ones locally this year. What an opportunity for people. Are there plans for an LCMS Life Conference next year?
Yeah, there absolutely is. But first, I wanted to mention, we were talking before, and I think I didn't note that the dates for January actually start. It's a whole month this year. So the dates for the various events start January 2nd, and they go all the way through January 30th. So rather than just the Saturday by the Roe v. Wade anniversary that Andy mentions, we're talking about an entire month of January of life events. So because of that, we decided for the Life Conference to have it a little bit later in the spring. We're going to have that on March 19th through 20th this year, rather than having it in close proximity to a Life March. So hopefully folks can get out and witness in January, and then in March join us for the Life Conference. This year, we aren't sure exactly what it's going to look like. We'd really like it to be a hybrid event where we can have some smaller local gatherings to have some live stream opportunities, but it's definitely going to have a lot of online opportunities. So we're going to be having live stream speakers, and we're also going to have things that are recorded, and so they can be watched on demand sessions, and there'll be opportunities to interact with some of the speakers in a Q&A kind of setting. And we're also planning to offer sessions for people of all ages. Before, when we had a Life Conference and it was in person in Washington, D.C., there were a lot of people who couldn't make it. But since it'll be online, we can have people from across the globe. Our missionaries, brothers and sisters in Christ, and our partner churches can join in. We're even planning sessions that could be picked up by Lutheran school classrooms and students and homeschoolers as well. So we're talking a really wide variety of ages. We're even working on a Spanish track, so we can have sessions in Spanish. So we're planning some pretty creative and new things that we've never been able to do with the Life Conference, and are pretty excited about that to be in March. And that information will be coming out in upcoming weeks. So just
soon.
So sometime soon, because again, we're trying to work on all the details. But it'll definitely be available on lcms.org/life. There'll be information. There'll be a registration form. You can even go there now and register and let us know your plans for January and local events. And that way we can make sure we've got you on our contact list and keep information flowing out to you, because a lot of the details are coming out really close to some of those events in January.
So check out lcms.org/life. Our guest today on the Coffee Hour, Deaconess Tiffany Manor, Director for LCMS Life Ministry, sharing with us some updates about life-affirming events in January and March in 2021. Deaconess Manor, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Thanks for having me. It was great to talk.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.